fact is the United States foolishly pushed the Russians into the arms of the Chinese. The United States has a deep-seated interest in getting Russia to help the United States contain China in Asia. And the Russians are perfectly willing to do that because China is a greater threat to them than the United States is because of geographic proximity. But because of our foolish policies as a result of the Ukraine crisis, we've pushed the Russians into the arms of the Chinese. If these American policymakers today had been running foreign policy in the late 30s and early 40s, instead of allying with the Soviet Union to fight Nazi Germany, they would have had the Americans declare war against both Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union. That shows you what dunderheads they are.
For the sake of nuance, I'd like to ask Kori Schake what you make of John Mearsheimer's argument, that Russia's aggressive-seeming posture is our fault.
I don't see a whole lot of evidence for that, to be honest, because we have tried very, very hard, the United States government, to bring Russia into cooperation, to include them in things, the NATO-Russia Council, to create opportunities. I mean, Bill Clinton and Boris Yeltsin working together on all sorts of things. The problem is that that's actually not what the Russians want. What the Russians want is a confrontation with us that solidifies Putin's sense of domestic control and that makes Russia feel powerful in the world when they cannot, by dint of a foreign policy that doesn't include the invasion of Ukraine or bombing hospitals in Syria, to feel powerful. They don't want to be powerful on Western terms. They want to be powerful as an antagonist to us.
Stephen Cohen, looking at the list of aggressions that Kori just mentioned and that Ruel went into in more detail, let's talk about the slaughter in Syria. Let's talk about the campaign, whether you think it's successful or not, to undermine Western democracies' confidence in themselves as democracies. Again, going back to the dalliance with China, how is this not, whether you think we the U.S. provoked it or not, how is this not a threat at this point?
Well, it depends on how you formulate it. I mean, for historical and political reasons, not entirely due to bad American policy, a unique alliance is emerging in the world today, Russia, China, Iran. It's a new reality. To call that a dalliance is kind of to disregard decades of history. China's moment in the sun is coming. Russia has to decide where it's going to be in this order. The old order is falling apart. A new one is emerging. Whether we like it or not, we don't dismiss it as a kind of capricious, anti-American move on Russia. It's driven by powerful factors. Crimea is usually given as Putin's original sin, the invasion of Crimea. The advantage, and I don't mean to be rude, that I have over people who wave this Russian aggression flag is I've actually studied Putin for almost 20 years, and I don't think you can find the word Crimea in any of his talks or interest or foreign policy priorities until the United States abetted the overthrow of the legitimately elected, whatever a rotter he might have been, president of Ukraine in February 2014. John wrote about this in Foreign Affairs back in 2014, I think, John. And then Putin had to make a choice. Crimea is what it is, vital to Russia. It was part of Ukraine accidentally territorially. Russia didn't care until what happened in Kiev.